Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm Coach, your host, David On Point. Right there is Mr. TJ Hopkins and Christian Simpson in between the two of us. And this is the last Sunday, gentlemen, without National Football League, without NFL action on a Sunday. So let's rejoice. And if you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you've come to the right place. Prime Sports World goes live basically every single day, bringing the most up-to-date content. So please like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, I'm going to share the StreamYard link into all of the places, including our main Prime Sports World Facebook page. So if you want to jump in and talk a little bit NFL action, as we're going to break down week number 1, preview and predictions. Of course, if you're new here to the show, I'm David On Point. Right there is Mr. TJ Hopkins. And from the Daily Blitz blog is our very own Christian Simpson. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. How are you guys doing, man? Are you guys excited for the start of the NFL season?
Yeah, definitely. First off, can you hear me okay? No echoing or anything like that?
I heard a little bit of an echo when I'm talking, but it's low.
Okay, but I sound okay?
You sound good, yeah.
All right. Yeah, man, it's another year. This is probably the best off season from an entertainment standpoint now. They all get ready to play, and we're going to see, that road to Arizona.
Yeah. Are you enjoying your Twizzlers there? Anyways, we're going to break down week number 1. This is the content you all been waiting for. Christian, if you could try to do something about that echo, it's pretty loud, actually. You could fix that. Let's get into week 1. The first game is the defending Super Bowl champ, the Los Angeles Rams, welcoming in the Super Bowl favorites in most people's cases, Buffalo Bills, in week number 1. TJ, how do you see this game shaking out? By the way, the last time these two teams played was in 2020. Buffalo beat the Rams by 3 points in September of 2020. Just how do you see this one shaking out? Two teams you expect to be there at the end, potentially, going at it at week number 1.
Yeah, this is a Super Bowl preview to some, right? The Bills are definitely the overwhelming favorites. Josh Allen's the overwhelming favorite for MVP. The Rams get their rings, they hang the banner. Could it be a potential Super Bowl hangover? Maybe. It's unlikely, in my opinion. Like you have the Bills. This is the only game the Bills lose to you, right, David?
I do think this is the only game the Bills lose when we did the season preview. Like I think the Bills lose this game, and then I think they run the table all the way to the Super Bowl potentially. This is Josh Allen is favorite to win the MVP. He's the Buffalo Bills odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. This is an interesting game for week number 1. You kind of hopefully don't have that Super Bowl hangover. You don't have that celebration type for the Rams. I don't think they'll be like that because Matthew Stafford's a veteran, and they have a lot of veterans on their roster. Christian, I know this is one of the ones you're teasing on the website. You're previewing on the website, correct?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me okay? I got headphones in.
Yep,
okay.
You sound good.
All right, cool. Yeah, this is my Super Bowl prediction right here. I think we're going to see these two in February in Arizona. Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Diggs. Like I remember they said this during the Super Bowl with Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey. Can we get a 7-game series of those two? I think this is going to be a great game. You got 2 top 10 quarterbacks in this game. I think 2 of the best coaches in the league. And you're talking about a defensive player who just played with the defending champs last year. So you can't sit here and say he's not giving his new team input. Von Miller, I'm talking about. You can't say he's not giving his new team input on how they want to do this, how they want to do that. Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on this, find out who I have winning on Thursday.
But TJ, who do you have winning the game? And what are some of the key matchups you're watching as this game unfolds? Who do you got winning it?
I was going to address some, but this is Christian's only second show of the year, and it's not sitting right in my soul. Anyway,
All right, man. He's back. He's back in full force. We got him all. We got him all NFL season long. So he's gonna be
whatever.
You see how he's. You see, look, he's gonna have to see me after the show. That's all I'm gonna say.
But I'm gonna take the Rams. Obviously, you look for the quarterback duel, right? You look for Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, like they're gonna be going back and forth, trying to match each other tit for tat. The edge, like the defensive presence, can Von Miller actually make that much of a difference for a Buffalo defense? And can the Rams defense pick up right where they left off? All right, like we already know Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald. What more needs to be said?
And I want to elaborate on that with what TJ said. The guy I think that's really going to benefit from Aaron Donald's presence is Bobby Wagner. And the reason why I say that is because Aaron Donald's going to draw a lot of double teams, triple teams. So that's going to allow Bobby to freely roam around in the backfield. He could have a career high in tackles this year just due to the simple fact Aaron Donald is going to command a lot of attention.
I'm also going to take the Los Angeles Rams. I think the matchup that I really want to watch is this wide receiving core for the Los Angeles Rams. Kind of a revamped wide receiving core. OBJ not there. Robert Woods is no longer on this team. Allen Robinson's going to have to step up there and play better than he did in Chicago last season. But you look at the secondary for Buffalo. I mean, they're going to be asking a lot of Kyrie Elam right out the gate because we don't expect Tre'Davious White, or for sure, Tre'Davious White's not going to play in this game. He's out for the first 4 weeks of the season. So I think this is a secondary that's still a work in progress. And it's an offensive line for the Buffalo Bills that didn't play particularly well in the preseason. So I think you look to see that offensive line kind of solidify and shore up. You look for this Bills secondary to potentially struggle in this game. I got the Rams winning the game. I do not think this game – I think it'll be close, but I don't think it'll be all that competitive. Christian, stuff you're watching before. I know you're not making a prediction, but just anything you're keeping your eye on.
I want to see the Buffalo offensive line and what they're going to do against this front seven of the Rams, because knowing Raheem Morris, he's going to throw a lot of exotic looks, a lot of blitzes, a lot of schemes, and watch particularly how he plays Jalen Ramsey. He's going to play him in a box as a linebacker, maybe a free safety. Of course, you're going to see him on the island at corner. So I think that's the other guy you really have to watch for. And again, can the Rams get that running game? I mean, not the Rams. Can the Buffalo Bills get that running game going? I think that's also going to be key as well. How many times did I say it last year? Josh Allen shouldn't be your leading rusher. Now it's time to show some balance.
They got running backs there, so let's see if they use them.
Right.
Moving on to there from the Thursday night game, we're going to swing into Sunday. We're going to talk a little bit about the Saints-Falcons, NFC South division opponents going after each other. Saints barely missed the playoffs last year. Falcons are clearly in a rebuild after trading away Matt Ryan. Last time these two plays was last season in January when the New Orleans Saints beat the Falcons 30-20. But a lot of things have changed for Atlanta and for the New Orleans Saints. No more Sean Payton, a little bit of different landscape. No more Matt Ryan in Atlanta. It's kind of a change of an era when it comes to this matchup. How do you guys see this one shaking out? Christian, I'll let you go first. Some stuff you're watching and prediction.
Actually, man, I think the Saints are going to be one of those teams that didn't make it last year to make it this year. If Jameis is healthy last year, they're a playoff team. They were 5-2 before he tore his ACL, and then the wheels just fell off. I mean, they revamped that receiving core. Hopefully, you have a healthy Michael Thomas. You have Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, and that defense is still going to be one of the best in the league. I just think they have way too much across the board for Atlanta. I think the Saints win this convincingly.
TJ.
Why are we talking about this?
I'm taking because it's a week one matchup. Don't be that guy. I'm also taking the Saints for a lot of the reasons that Christian just talked about. This is also a defense that added some stuff on their secondary in the different levels. I think this is going to be a defense. This is a Saints team. I think is a dark horse to go pretty far this season. I think I like their offense as long as Jameis Winston can stay healthy and Alvin Kamara doesn't get suspended at any point, which doesn't seem to be the case. Look for the Saints to be a dark horse Super Bowl contender. I actually had them winning the division. When we did the division show, we picked our playoffs in the NFC. I had the Saints winning the division. I think their defense is going to be tough, real tough. Thanks, TJ. Moving on, we're going to talk about our Chicago Bears. And I was just and the Bears are going to be playing the San Francisco 49ers at the place I was at yesterday at a concert. I went to go see Rammstein at Soldier Field. It was an amazing show. My voice is taking a bit of a hit, but I'm all good. But how do you guys see this one shaking out? We've got the Trey Lance situation, Chicago, they're basically, new era there with new head coach, new office, new GM, no more Khalil Mack, no more Akeem Hicks. But how do you see this one shaking out? TJ, I'll let you go first since this is our team.
Honestly, the revamped offense under Luke Getsy.
And everything about the Bears right now is revamped.
He has gotten minimal praise. Like, I know RG3 was one of the big supporters of the new offense because it caters to what Justin Fields does really well. Like, it was a lot of rollouts, a lot of quick passes, and occasional throws downfield, which is what we hope to see. Obviously, like, the bigger story in all of this is Trey Lance. Like, what do you get out of him? Right? And Jimmy Garoppolo is still on this roster. Like, that is a thing. So
they didn't like rectify that situation. They just kind of
the 49ers are going to have the same questions asked for basically the first month of the season, really. And that's all about Trey Lance and how he plays, because if he's up and down, like if he comes out against a Bears defense that's not particularly good and he struggles, then yeah, like even if the 49ers win, even if they win, if he win but they struggle and he struggles, yeah, you got questions. Like, are you sure this is the guy? We've seen Trey Lance play how many NFL games?
I think he started 2 games. He's played in 3.
Like, come on. Like,
one game eventually.
And even if he looks good, that the caveat is, you played a Bears team that sucks. So he's really in a lose-lose situation. Like, if he wins, it's because you played a bad Bears team. But if you look bad, it's because you're bad. Like, he can't win in this situation.
And I think when you say a bad Bears defense, that's really more in the front 7 category as opposed to their back end. I think their cornerbacks and safeties are actually real good this season. I think there's a lot of promise there with the guys they drafted, and Jalen Johnson's still on this team. I actually really like their secondary a lot. But yeah, they're just young, like young and inexperienced. But their front 7 is a mess. Like I don't really trust any of those guys outside of Robert Quinn and. His name's totally escaping right now, but anyways, Roquan Smith. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'm going to take the 49ers to win this game. I think Trey Lance does play well. So I think, at least for 1 week, get to quiet all the where's Jimmy Garoppolo stuff, at least for 1 week. I think he plays pretty well in this game. Christian.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the 49ers in this one. I just don't know if the Bears defense has enough to try and limit Debo, because you got to worry about him as a pass catcher. You got to worry about him out the backfield. They're going to use him in a variety of ways. Always referred to him as the Joker of that offense, and he's going to show why he just got that extension.
Yeah, I think this could be one of those games that gets real ugly. The Bears might have the worst defense in the league. Especially if they trade away Robert Quinn, just a wrap for that defense. Moving on, Saturday and Sunday, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the reigning AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. These teams obviously played last season twice. Last time they met, the Bengals beat them down 41-10 in November. I think the Bengals may have swept Pittsburgh last year, which may have been the first time that's ever happened in at least 10 years. But this is a new season. We got Mitchell Trubisky now at quarterback, probably for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think they've announced who the starter is going to be there in Pittsburgh, or if they have announced that. What? Okay. So Mitchell Trubisky there in Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, revamped offensive line. Because in the offseason, they spent a lot of money on the offensive line. So how do you guys see this one shaking out? I'll let TJ go first.
Well, obviously, Steelers should be better offensively. They have a quarterback who can actually throw the ball down the field now. And not whatever Big Ben called himself last season, because that was hard to watch. That was ugly. That was ugly. Obviously, if you're the Bengals, you're trying to prove that last season, the run you went on, you're trying to prove it wasn't a fluke. All right, like everybody's saying the same thing. You only got that far because the Bengals were hurt, Baker Mayfield sucked, and Pittsburgh was just old. All right, like so. You have to completely change the narrative of you got lucky if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh, this is a prime example to show that, hey, we're still here. We're not going anywhere no time soon by beating the reigning defending AFC champions.
So who are you taking in the game?
Probably go with the Bengals just because I got more faith in Joey B and the offense in Cincinnati. They're not do with Pittsburgh, especially if Najee Harris is a no-go.
He's trending towards being able to play. I think he's going to tough out that Liz Frank injury. But I guess we'll see. It might affect his usage as well. But yeah, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to win this game. I love what they did in the offseason. Like they know they had a problem in the offensive line, as opposed to like most people thought they'd go through the draft. Instead of addressing in a draft and taking flyers on guys that could be good, they decided to take like proven NFL players and build their offensive line that way. I love that kind of building. I love that kind of team construction. And then, you basically were able to go into the draft with having a bunch of luxury. So they just added depth wherever they needed it. Cincinnati is built to go back to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. It starts week 1 with beating Pittsburgh in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm taking the Bengals. I think Joe Mixon is going to be an X factor in this game. And, TJ touched on it best. I have more faith in Joe Burrow than I do Mitchell Trubisky. Plain and simple.
Moving on to the next game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Detroit Lions. Many people have the Philadelphia Eagles as kind of a sneaky playoff team this season, me included. Phil, last time these two teams met was in last season in October, the day before Halloween, and the Eagles put up a scary number on the Lions, 44-6. Philadelphia Eagles added A.J. Brown to this offense. They had a pretty good draft. If you look at their draft results, picking up Jordan Davis and Jacoby Dean from Georgia. Detroit, it's for sure they're still in the build. Jared Goff is still there. Amon-Ra St. Brown should take a second-year jump. DeAndre Swift is still a good offensive player, but this defense is rough. Who do you guys got taking win this game? I'll let you, Christian, go first.
I like Philly. I think the Lions are going to play them tough, but it's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and that's where I see Philly pulling away. That's the one thing I had to give the Lions. They really play hard for Dan Campbell. He's the type of coach you run through a wall for.
That's good. Anyway, it's like you can say again. It comes down to Jalen Hurts, right? Like y'all got a lot more faith in Jalen Hurts than I do. Like it is what it is. Like they can have a better team, but I don't trust Jalen Hurts to make the throws in the big moment. Like I don't. Like,
I don't think he's necessarily going to need to make that throw in this game. Like they should win this game easily. Like the Eagles have an easily top 5 defense next season. Like look at what they did in the draft, and they
but that's why we don't play defenses on paper. That's why we don't play.
I know, but trading for no commodities at the cornerback position with James Bradbury from the New York Giants. They also just traded for Gardner Johnson, who's a good football player. Like this should be like one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah, we said that years ago. Like we literally said that when Namdi Asamoah and that defense got together, we said the same thing. And then what happened? Worst defense ever. So that's why we don't play. That's why we don't play games on paper.
With that being said, yeah, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. I had them winning the NFC East, so I got to start somewhere, and this is where it's going to start for them, beating Detroit. I think that's saying a whole lot. TJ, you're taking the Eagles, though, right?
No, I'm gonna take the Lions in the field goal. Walk off. They walk it off.
All right. Patriots. The Patriots are going to go into Miami, into Hard Rock Cafe Stadium, and see the new look Miami Dolphins, fresh off their trading for Tyreek Hill in the offseason. Obviously, these two teams played last season twice, but the last time they played was on January 8th. It might have been the last week of the season. Miami won 33-24. A lot of turmoil there in New England in the offseason where they a lot of stuff with the coordinators and all that noise. Basically losing, McDaniels to the Las Vegas Raiders. But how do you see this one shaking out? I'll let TJ go first for Miami versus New England. This game is in Miami.
Miami, for the simple fact that New England has no receivers for Mac Jones to throw the ball to. Like they have no. Like I get it. Yeah, they traded for Devontae Parker, but nah, it's not happening. Like they have nobody for him to throw the ball to. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the tight end position, I think this offense is going to really regress this season. I don't like what they've done this offseason. I don't like what they did with the draft either. I don't like why they just traded away Shaq Mason for literally no reason whatsoever. Give me the Miami to win this game. I think New England is going to. I think they're going to for sure regress this season. Christian.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm taking Miami. There's nobody on that offense outside of the tight ends and maybe
I do like Damian Harris a lot.
I was just getting to that. And Damian Harris, that really scares me. on that offense. But knowing New England, they're going to try and win games the old school way. Running the football, getting your tight ends involved, defense and special teams, but that's not going to be enough on Sunday against Miami.
Moving on from that game, we're going to stay sort of in the AFC West or AFC East as we talk about Baltimore going into MetLife Stadium. They're in New Jersey, taking on the New York Jets. Last time these two teams played was 2019. Baltimore beat them down 42-12. It's unclear if Zach Wilson's going to play in this game for the New York Jets. Baltimore may or may not have J.K. Dobbins for this game. I don't know if he's off the PUP list yet or not. I guess I could take a look at that while you guys are.
They may or may not have Lamar Jackson. Keep it a buck.
Yeah, I mean, so how do you guys see this one shaking out for the Ravens and the Jets? TJ.
Well, it's easy. Lamar Jackson plays, you win by 50. Lamar Jackson doesn't play, it's a coin toss.
Let's not pretend like Tyler Huntley isn't effective.
I said what I said. I said what I said.
Regardless of whoever starts at quarterback for them, I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I just think, especially if Zach Wilson doesn't start and it ends up being Mike White or Joe Flacco, I just think this defense is going to be too tough. Especially since they have everybody's healthy on that defense right now, and that's been the calling card for the Ravens for a long time is defense and running the football. They'll find people to do that for them, and Tyler Huntley will do it just enough to get the W. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking Baltimore as well. I don't think anything else really needs to be said.
True. Moving on to the next game, we got the battle between the AFC South and the NFC East as we got the Jaguars and the Commanders going head-to-head. I still don't like that name. I wish it was something else, but it is what it is at this point. Jacksonville coming off of Travis Etienne is going to make his first career start in the National Football League after missing his entire rookie season. The Commanders, Carson Wentz is in as the quarterback position. They reached a deal with Scary Terry. Last time these two teams met was in 2018, and the Washington Commanders squeaked out a victory 16-13 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Christian, how do you see this one shaking out? New look Commanders going up against Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Doug Peterson is their head coach now there at Jacksonville.
I'm taking Jacksonville. I don't trust Carson Wentz. Plain and simple. I do not trust Carson Wentz. This is going to be an ugly game. I can see this come down to the last quarter as well. Maybe a field goal decides it. But I think Trevor Lawrence is really going to ascend this year because now he has a head coach who was a former quarterback and an offensive-minded guy to kind of groom him a little bit more. And that distraction is out the room now at Urban Meyer. I like Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think also Jacksonville did I know they way overpaid for Christian Kirk, but when you look at the weapons that he's going to have on offense this season as opposed to what he had last season, it's a substantial upgrade.
Right.
But I still think the Commanders with Carson Wentz, still think they're a better team today than the Jacksonville Jaguars are. So I do think this will be an ugly game. Chase Young probably won't play for the Commanders, so good for Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't have to see him in this game. But I'm going to take the Commanders. I think it's going to be a field goal. I think this game is going to be really close. I expect it to be a sloppy, messy game for both of these teams. I look for Travis Etienne to have over 100 plus scrimmage yards through the area on the ground.
That's funny. He don't have to see, he don't have to see Chase Young, but he do got to see Deron Payne. He got to see Jonathan Allen.
Montez Sweat.
He got to see Montez Sweat. So yeah, just because he ain't got to see that one, don't mean his day don't get no easier. And just for that alone, right? It's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day. Washington by 10.
I do. I think Washington by 7 points, but potentially. Moving on from there, we got the revenge game, I guess, so to speak. We have Baker Mayfield and his Carolina Panthers welcoming in the Cleveland Browns into his stadium. All the turmoil with the Deshaun Watson stuff, but finally we can put that stuff behind us because it's all been settled, and we can finally focus on the action on the football field. Jacoby Brissett will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns for the first 11 weeks of the season, or 12. So that's set in stone. The Baker Mayfield get his revenge against his former team, who basically just sold him to the wind. And now he's on the Carolina Panthers, who have a decent offense. Chris McCaffrey's healthy. That offensive line is still kind of work in progress, and there is some weapons in the passing game. Christian, how do you see this one shaking out? And do you think Baker Mayfield gets his revenge on his old squad?
He will get his revenge. I definitely like Carolina here. If Christian McCaffrey is healthy, this is a completely different offense. I know he's had trouble staying healthy. They have weapons. Yeah, I think Baker has had this circle on the calendar since he got traded, and I just hope he can really keep his emotions in check, because when you're facing your former team after they did something to you, your emotions can get the best of you. He's just gonna have to. What'd you say?
He did it to himself. Play better.
Very true. Very true. But yeah, I like Carolina, David.
And let's not act like, I'm not making fun of you, Christian, but they're like, oh, Baker had this game circled on his calendar. Okay, is Cleveland supposed to lose sleep?
Because the other kind of this coin, Baker Mayfield. This is basically Baker Mayfield's Super Bowl, because they're not playing for anything else this season. Like this is like, if they win the game, they basically have won their own personal Super Bowl, because the Carolina Panthers are going to stink. They're not going to be even close to a playoff spot. I think they're going to ramp up everything they got for this one game. I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers to win this game. I think it's their only game that they remotely care about this season. So give me Carolina.
Oh my God! You know what? Cleveland is rolling out the same roster minus Deshaun Watson, obviously, but no Jarvis, and who else? No Austin Hooper.
Nope.
That's pretty much it. That's not.
They added Amari Cooper. Whatever you think of him, he's still an effective wide receiver.
They still got the best 1-2 tandem at running back in the NFL.
I don't know how much experience Watt's actually going to play in this game.
For now, but still, you still got a game plan as if he's going to play. That being said, okay, the Panthers got J.C. Horn. Okay, so you probably put him on Cooper, and everybody else, good luck, because I only have faith in J.C. Horn, and he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
So there's no, even with Deshaun Watson not playing, there's no reason why Cleveland shouldn't still win this game.
And I fully expect Nick Chubb to have. He may break the record for touches in a season at the running back position.
Especially those first 11 weeks, absolutely.
Yeah, Nick Chubb is gonna. If you, I know we're gonna talk about fantasy here for a minute, but if you own Nick Chubb in fantasy, he's going to have a billion.
Hey, TJ, first one of the year, fantasy. Fantasy.
I'm still going to stick with my Carolina Panthers pick. I think this is their Super Bowl. This is the only game the team cares about. Moving on from there, we got the Indianapolis Colts going into Houston to pick on the Texans. The last time they played, obviously, was last season, where Indianapolis put down the hurting on the Houston Texans 31-0 in December of 2021. This is when the Colts were at their ascension. Everybody thought they were going to be a dark horse playoff team, and as you know, we know how that ended. But they, traded out Carson Wentz. They got Matt Ryan now as the quarterback there for Indianapolis. On the Houston side of this, they fired David Culley, hired Lovie Smith to be their head coach. Davis Mills is still the starting quarterback of this team, who was the second best rookie quarterback last year by far. But how do you guys see this one shaking out? TJ, go ahead.
I don't care.
Ain't nobody care. TJ, I said it for you. Ain't nobody care.
I like the Colts got more going on with their organization as a whole versus, who's like. It's funny how they blame Carson Wentz, but they didn't blame Phillip Rivers, for coming up short. And then Matt Ryan.
I think the big difference there is that they at least went to the playoffs with Phillip Rivers.
Still came up short. I don't care.
All right. Well, either way, I'm going to take the Colts to win the game. I know neither of you care, but I do, because I like the Colts. And I'm
taking the Colts too. I was just saying, ain't nobody care for TJ.
Nobody care for you. Take your do-rag off.
That's true. Look, I'm in my house. Goddamn.
You need a haircut, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Anyways, before things completely go off the rails here.
game. This game.
Moving on to the next game, we start into the late afternoon window with the first game, the New York Football Giants, Christians, New York Football Giants, going against the reigning number 1 seed in the AFC, Tennessee Titans, which still sounds very weird to say that they were the number 1 seed in the AFC last season. New York Giants, they fired everybody they could. They got a new head coach. They still have the same situation at quarterback. Tennessee Titans, no more A.J. Brown there. They basically have revamped this entire wide receiving core. Still have Derrick Henry, who's healthy now coming into the season. Last time these two teams played was in 2018, and the Titans beat the Giants 17-0 in 2018. It happened in December of 2018. Christian, how do you think your New York Football Giants are going to fare against the reigning number 1 seed in the AFC, Tennessee Titans?
They'll put up a fight, but I think Tennessee beats them. I just think the Derrick Henry factor is going to be a little too much at the end of the day.
TJ.
Ditto. I just wish Daniel Jones just proved me right instead of proving me wrong. All right, he's another one of those dudes where you have all the tools, 6'5", decent size, you're mobile, you got an arm, right? You just have to be able. You just need to put it all together.
And they've done they've done a decent job putting weapons around him. I do like Kadarius Toney. I like Kenny Golladay, obviously, because he went to NIU.
And it's you just gotta can Saquon. I am looking forward to Saquon Barkley versus Derrick Henry. Cause Saquon's kind of on the forgotten train. No one considers him to be in the upper echelon of running backs anymore. At least I don't think.
They for sure don't. I mean, he hasn't really been healthy for the last 3 years, so it's hard to consider him.
And Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. What more needs to be said? So yeah, give me the Titans. 2 touchdowns. Titans by 14.
Yeah, I'll take the Titans by 14 points. I'm taking the Titans win this game. I know they have a new regime there, a new GM, new head coach. I just still think they're going to have issues when it comes to scoring the rock. So moving on from there, we got an NFC North matchup. One of probably the best 2 teams in that division, depending on what you think about the Bears and the Lions. Green Bay Packers going into Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings. Last time these 2 teams played, Green Bay beat them down 37-10 against in Minnesota. This game, I think, was in Green Bay. Happened in January of this year. It may have been the last week of the season. But how do you guys see this one shaking out with Green Bay? Obviously, we talk about what happened with them in the offseason. They extended Aaron Rodgers, gave him a new 4-year deal. They traded away Devontae Adams. Basically replaced him with no one besides Sammy Watkins and some relics. Let's talk about it. Minnesota on the other side, Justin Jefferson, year 3. He's on a historic trajectory. Their defense is still an issue.
Yeah, the defense is still an issue. That's the one thing that really concerns me about them because, offensively, what you're going to get for them. And I know so many Vikings fans that continue to blame Kirk Cousins for them struggling last year. And all I just say is this. You can't blame him because Kirk is the reason why you were in games. He can't play on both sides of the ball. He can only play on one side. So what else could he do? But Minnesota added Zadarius Smith from Green Bay to give them a little bit of some pass rush depth. Yeah, and you have Danielle Hunter. Patrick Peterson's kind of toward the end, I guess you could say. Patrick Peterson's kind of toward the end, you could say, but it seems like anytime these 2 teams play in Minnesota, the Vikings always seem to give them a run for their money, and I actually think Minnesota beats them. I'm taking Minnesota by a field goal.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm taking Minnesota. By the way, CEO of Prime Sports World is watching the show. He says Green Bay 28, Vikings 24. He says the Packers are the new no-fly zone, which is, I think, ridiculous. Even though I do think they're going to have an elite defense next season. I'm going to take Vikings. I actually don't think this game is going to be that close. Whenever they seem to play, Dalvin Cook seems to run marathons against the Green Bay Packer defense. I will take the Vikings to smoke them.
And that's the thing about Green Bay. I said it all throughout last year. With Green Bay, they play defense in spurts. They'll look good for one half, and then they'll struggle completely in the second half. I think this game is going to be close. I think it comes down to a field goal, David.
TJ.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings. You can say no fly zone all you want. We don't play games on paper. Just like we don't play games on paper. Not to mention that this is not Mike Zimmer's Minnesota Vikings.
This is Kevin O'Connell's Minnesota Vikings.
Right? Like this is a whole new offense.
Talk to him, King. Talk to him.
This is a whole new offense. And Justin Jefferson literally came out and said, like, damn, no wonder Cooper Kupp was so wide open so much last season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God, like, damn. Right? Like, so he brought up a great point. Every time Dalvin Cook plays the Packers, it's just like Dalvin Cook is like, I'm the best running back in football, and I'm gonna let y'all know why. And yeah, it's like they gonna score 28 points, throwing the ball to who? Alan Lazard.
Lazard, a bunch of
Come on, man! Like, yeah, give me the Vikings.
I'm also taking the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, Mr. Israel Rivera disagrees with our assessment of his team and the Minnesota Vikings. Hey, man, if you got a problem with it, you can just hop on the show. Moving on to the next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Last time these two teams went at it was in 2021. Kansas City beat the Cardinals. This was maybe like week 1, maybe last season, week 2, August 20th, 2021. 17-10, Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Arizona Cardinals. Kansas City, obviously we talked about this, losing Tyreek Hill in the offseason, signing a bunch of people at MVS and Juju Smith-Schuster to kind of replace that void left by Tyreek Hill. On the Arizona side of this, you lose Chandler Jones. You also lost DeAndre Hopkins for the first 8 weeks of the season due to suspension. You trade for Marquise Brown from the Baltimore Ravens. So how do you guys see this shaking out? TJ, you go first.
Chiefs. That's it. Pat Mahomes is better than Kyler Murray, and it's not close. They have nobody to stop Travis Kelce, so it doesn't matter that they lost Tyreek Hill, at least for this game. Like, Travis Kelce's finna go crazy. Right? And even Izzy's boy Sky Moore, even he might have a big game. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that second cornerback position outside of Byron Murphy obviously is a really good corner, but everybody else on that defense, and this is kind of the Isaiah Simmons season where he really needs to step up and prove that he's worth that first round pick that they used him a few years ago. That hasn't necessarily panned.
And that guy out of Tulsa. What's the other guy
Zane Collins they took last year out of Tulsa. Yeah, he was brought in to be an edge rusher. He hasn't really worked out in that situation either. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I'm going to take Kansas City to win the game. I think not having DeAndre Hopkins to kind of punish a not great secondary there in Kansas City is not ideal. I also don't necessarily love giving up a first round pick for Marquise Brown. I just don't think he's worth a first round pick. Give me Kansas City to win this game. I think they could win this game big. Christian.
It's a sweep across the board. I like Kansas City.
So into the final game of the late afternoon window, we got the rematch between week 18 of the last season, where it was a walk-off field goal that put the Raiders into the playoffs when Brandon Staley called that timeout, and Las Vegas was like, yeah, we're going to kick this field goal and end your season, as opposed to both of those teams make the playoffs. That's straight up how it went down. Some interesting stuff, for the Chargers. Traded for Khalil Mack in the offseason. They also went and got J.C. Jackson, the cornerback out of New England, who probably won't play in this game. I know he had some sort of ankle surgery recently, and he's going to be out for a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be back for this game or not. Las Vegas Raiders, obviously the big storyline here is trading for Devontae Adams in the offseason. A big move for a team, reuniting. They went to Fresno State to him and Derek Carr. So we'll see how that ends up shaking out. Christian, analysis of this game, because I know you have a shameless plug to bust out, right?
Yes, this is another one I'm previewing on the site. Can't wait to get my hands. Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on this one. I just want to see what the Raiders' offensive line can do against this revamped Chargers front four. Yeah, you got to now not just worry about Joey Bosa. Now you got to worry about Khalil Mack on the other side. You know, you have Derwin James. They're going to use him in a variety of ways. And then the Chargers also signed Sebastian Joseph Day. He played under Brandon Staley for the Rams when he was the Rams defensive coordinator. So he knows the ins and outs of the scheme that Brandon wants to run. The Raiders, they have a nice little trio of weapons offensively. Devontae Adams, of course, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. But I think the guy that's going to make everything go is Josh Jacobs. Like, he has to stay healthy this year. And find out who I have winning on Wednesday.
I'm taking the Chargers to win the game. I think the Chargers may have had the best offseason of any team in the NFL last season. Trading for Khalil Mack, not having to give up the farm to get him, adding J.C. Jackson, having a really good draft, adding another offensive lineman talent there in the draft. Look for Mike Williams to take a step forward, Keenan Allen, and big thing is that Justin Herbert continued growth from year 2 to 3. The dude's been awesome since he basically was given that job because of the puncture job done to Tyrod Taylor. Look for him to continue to grow and develop. Justin Herbert, I'm going to take the Chargers to win the game. I'm all in on the Chargers this season. I think they win the AFC West. TJ.
The Chargers are also my pick to win the AFC West. If this team just stays healthy, good luck for everybody across the board. But for this one game, everybody is healthy. No, I'll take that back. J.C. Jackson is out.
J.C. Jackson's out. I think he's out for another week.
So, hopefully Brandon Staley learns from his rookie coaching mistakes. Like, call a timeout to, give a team that's trying to kick a field goal. Like they were initially going for it, and they was like, hey, no, we're just gonna kick this and end your season. And you should have just let them do that. And you're probably in the playoffs, and they aren't. You still.
Everybody would have made the playoffs in that scenario.
Everybody would have made it. I take it. It's this offense versus defense. Give me the Chargers. I think it's gonna be close though. I think it's gonna take another walk-off field goal.
And moving on to Sunday Night Football. We got a doozy for the first Sunday Night Football game. We got the Dallas Cowboys going into Raymond James Stadium, taking on Tom Brady, the ageless wonder, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time these two teams played, I think, was week 1 of the season last year, where we had Tampa Bay. I think they got their rings that night, right? Tampa Bay, was that opening night? Tampa Bay, Dallas, opening night last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tampa Bay won 31-29. Really entertaining game. Hopefully the first game of the season this year is as entertaining as that one was. Storylines, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady retires, then unretires, then Bruce Arians retires, and then all of those stuff with going on with that coaching situation. Dallas side of this, Dak Prescott, year 2 removed from that injury. This year as TJ always talks about, instead of him having to rehab this offseason, he actually got to work on his craft. So let's see what kind of development he makes in year 2 from that injury. Also, second year of the big contract that he signed. Amari Cooper, no longer a member of this team in the Dallas Cowboys. Randy Gregory also gone from the Dallas Cowboys. TJ, who do you got winning this game? I don't even. He means he's gonna take Tom Brady. He doesn't bet. He won't bet against Tom Brady. Nor should anyone ever. Right, TJ? I'll take Tampa Bay to win the game. I just think that their defense is going to be so good, like especially in the front 7. I think their defense is going to be elite.
They legit might have the best linebacking core in football, and I really don't think it's close.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, and it's not like Devin White, Shaq Barrett, Levante David. It's man.
I mean, they did lose Ndamukong Suh, and they did lose Jason Pierre-Paul. Ndamukong Suh might resign for this team eventually, but he hasn't yet.
Did JPP retire, or he just?
I don't know, man. I think he's done everything he could do. He's got 3 rings. He doesn't have anything else left to do. So if he wants to make much more money, I don't know. Christian.
You know what's coming, David. You know what's coming. Yeah, I preview this one. I think the key for Dallas is they got to get home to Tom Brady, because if you watch that game last year, Tom had too clean of a jersey for my liking. Like every time they would try to get home to him, the ball's out his hands. And I always say, if you're gonna play man coverage on Tom Brady, you better have the pass rushers to complement and get home to him. I think that's gonna be a major key. And I want to see how this Tampa offensive line is gonna look because they're gonna be without some guys. They lost one guy. I think Alex Kappa signed with Cincinnati.
Ryan Jensen got injured in training camp, so he's out, the starting center for this team.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people expect. The game's in Dallas, and
no, this game's in Tampa.
No, it's in Dallas.
Is it?
Yeah, it's in Dallas.
Oh yeah, I have that flipped. Yeah, my bad. Yeah,
it's all good. So find out Friday.
Well, good news is the Cowboys never really have a home field advantage because opposing teams travel very well to Jerry Road. Like we see it all the time. No Randy Gregory to help alleviate some of the pass rush responsibilities of Micah Parsons. So Micah Parsons literally just rushing the edge the entire time. And on the flip side of that, I think the Cowboys are trying to sign Jason Peters, who is 40 years old. Right? Like
I don't think Tyler Smith's working out too well. They drafted him from Tulsa.
Well, no, he's playing. He's just playing. He's just going to play a different spot on the offensive line. So Tyler Smith might play right tackle. You sign Jason Peters to throw at left tackle. But it's probably out fishing right now. That's what he does in his free time. So what we have to understand is every 40-year-old left tackle is not Andrew Whitworth. Like I'm just throwing it out there. So. Yeah, like don't go out there looking for 40-year-old left tackles thinking that they're going to be Andrew Whitworth for you. That being said, like no Michael Gallup, he's not going to play this game. So it's CeeDee Lamb. You getting everybody's best corner, right? Like Ezekiel Elliott, can you return to form? You look great. You look in shape. You look fantastic, right? You really do, but. That's why we don't play the game on pictures. All right, you can show all the abs you want. You back to being a Zeke with the crop top. Like you hear me, Christian? He back to being a Zeke with the crop. He back to being crop top Zeke.
Come on, man. That's bad. That's bad for my soon to be kids' eyes. Come on, man. Man, you trying to see all that? TJ, you know you ain't trying to see all that.
Hey, the man wore a crop top suit. I ain't never seen that before.
I ain't never. You look.
It ain't seen it since. So
I'm taking Tampa Bay. I made the mistake of betting against Tom Brady way too many times. I'm not doing it. At least not for this.
Took you long enough to learn.
Yeah, but at least not for this particular game. And then finally, Monday Night Football, another quote-unquote revenge game as Russell Wilson returns to the 12th man there in Seattle. That stadium is actually called Lemon Field. I don't know what lemon is, but Lemon Field, the last two times he's played was actually last season, August 21st, 2021. Denver beat Seattle 30-3 with whoever was playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos that game. Now it is Russell Wilson.
It was a receiver that got it was a receiver turn. He was a quarterback turn receiver. Like all the quarterbacks.
That was not that game.
Are you sure? Like every quarterback got
Denver won 30-3. It for sure wasn't that game.
I'm sorry. I thought you said it's the other one.
No, Denver won 30-3. Like, it sure wasn't that game. But yeah, Denver added Russell Wilson. Gave him the big contract extension this week. I think it was like $256 million, something like that. And Seattle clearly in a rebuild. Geno Smith won the starting quarterback job for this team. How do you guys see this game shaking out? Christian, go ahead.
Well, I previewed this one on the site today.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
I like Denver in this one. I think Denver is just too much for Seattle. Yeah, a certain somebody want to say I'm disrespectful, but I'm not gonna say no name. TJ Hopkins.
Yeah, you got Denver giving up way too many points to the Seattle team, bro. Like that's why it's disrespectful. Like that's why.
How many points did he have to give it up?
Only 13. Only 13.
I think that's realistic. That's
right.
Yeah. Let's not pretend like Tyler Lockett's still not on this team. Let's not pretend like DK Metcalf's still not on this team.
Who's throwing them the ball? Who's throwing
Geno
them the ball?
Smith's he's gonna throw some lemons out there. It's gonna be lemonade. It's gonna be
Look,
delicious.
David, David, you gotta realize, man. Sometimes he don't know shit, so it's okay.
I'm taking Denver. I think Russell Wilson gets his quote unquote revenge. I will be interested to see what kind of reception Russell Wilson gets in the stadium.
Why?
I imagine he will get cheered. There's always that like split between like where after you trade away as a player, after he clearly didn't want to be there anymore, if people want to boo him or if people want to cheer him. There will always be that split. It'll be mostly a cheers.
Hey, TJ, how much you want to bet?
And I'm telling you that Russell Wilson going back to Seattle is the only reason this game's on Monday night, because it's going to be a spanking.
Hey, TJ, how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet if Denver does beat Seattle? CC gonna hit the moonwalk on the bird.
But yeah, we're sweeping it. We're all taking Denver. That's been our week 1 predictions and preview. Please continue to check us out here at Prime Sports World. Tomorrow, we're going to be giving you our prime games of the week. So each of our panelists are going to pick one game that we're particularly interested in, and we're going to do a deep dive into that one particular game. So there'll be 5 games, 4 games probably. 1 from me, 1 from Izzy, 1 from TJ, and 1 from Christian, and maybe 1 from Matt James if I can get him to give me a game. We're going to have 5 games for you guys that Prime Sports World is going to have their eye on. Christian, if you guys could all send me your game and I can start working on those graphics tonight, that would be very, very helpful. I've been David Huppman right there with TJ Hopkins, and from the Daily Blitz.blog, it's Mr. Christian Simpson. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed the show and learned something. Please like, share, and subscribe. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prom, my friends?
We send your ass to grandma's house.
And we get faded because Christian need a haircut.
And you know what? And we FaceTime TJ because he gonna have to see me at this goddamn show.
We bring the heat.
We bring the heat.
Yes, sir. We will be back here tomorrow. If you're looking for consistent content, Facebook, continue picking up Prime Sports World. We are going to be live every day but Sundays during this football season. So continue looking for that content. We will see you guys later. Have a good night. Peace out, guys.